Yo, what's good? It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Today I wanted to talk about the number 5 pick. The Detroit Pistons got it. And they got some options there. And I want to dive into that in this video. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me. Hit subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. And hit the bell for notifications for more videos coming out. I usually post almost every day. Look, there's 3 main options for the Detroit Pistons. There's 3. The popular one right now is split between Cam Whitmore and Jarace Walker. And you have the outside selection of Taylor Hendricks. And I want to kind of dive into the difference between the 3 of them and why I made the selection that I did in my prior video, that I believe Jarace Walker was the pick for the Detroit Pistons. Let me first start off by saying that the game of basketball is a simple one. Get the ball in the basket, stop the other team from getting the ball in the basket. But how you go about doing that is as complex as your imagination can go. 10 years ago, who would have ever thought of a shooter's league where you're shooting nonstop and you're shooting, 20 plus threes a game, 30 threes in a game, right? No one would have even imagined that, right? 20 years ago, who would have imagined that the center position might be obsolete? And then all of a sudden, it begins to make a reemergence. The idea of small ball with a 6'6" center that the Golden State Warriors dynasty was able to get away with. Who would have ever thought that that would have been something that was possible in an era of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and George Mikan and Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing and David Robinson? Who would have ever thought a 6'6" center would pass to get you an NBA championship? And so when we look at the NBA and what it means to create a team that can win for the future, it isn't just about what everyone else is doing. It's about understanding what you are trying to do and maximizing the talent that you have on your team, maximizing the abilities and the skills and the talents, and putting it all together. And this is where I want to start. What is together for the Detroit Pistons? Who are the pieces that they are trying to build around, and what is actually going to bring this team together? The main piece we all know is Cade Cunningham, number 1 pick in the draft. He's a dynamic scorer, facilitator, great effort on defense, great leadership intangibles, extremely high basketball IQ. He is the building block. He's the cornerstone, the chief cornerstone. Next, you got Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren. Jaden Ivey is the electric scorer, a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism, ability to get to the basket at will. He has great competitiveness, his drive to compete. You saw it on display every single game he was on the court last season. And it may seem like something that's, oh, of course guys are competitors. No, not everyone is a competitor. Just go ahead and ask Ben Simmons, DeAndre Ayton, right? Not everybody wants to win that bad and is willing to put their bodies on the line, giving 150% until the very last second of the buzzer. That's who Jaden Ivey is. That is a part of his talent. And then Jalen Duren, he's a monster inside. About 6'10" with a 7'5" wingspan, really good athleticism, mobility, sneaky offensive game. I don't think anybody really looks at him and goes like, oh yeah, I can see him doing up and unders and jump hooks and maybe even a little 10-foot, 15-foot jump shot. And yet, if you watched, he showed it to you. He showed it to you. Now, apart from those 3, I think that's the core trio. And then you got guys like Isaiah Stewart, Isaiah Livers. You've got other guys like a little bit further more on the periphery, Marvin Bagley. You've got James Wiseman, Bojan Bogdanovic, right? You got pieces there. You've got pieces. But now with the number 5 pick, you have to ask yourself, what brings these pieces together? Here is where the comparisons begin. Cam Whitmore is probably one of the most athletic players in this draft. He's got somewhere upwards of about close to a 40-inch vertical, and he's a powerful athlete. Some athletes are quick, elusive, kind of like a Jaden Ivey, right? It's built around speed and elusiveness. Cam Whitmore is about his explosiveness and his physicality. And just when you're bracing for that physicality, he's either spinning off of you or doing a jump stop and kind of Euro stepping past you. You see, he is one of those athletes that you have to have the right personnel to be able to guard. Because when you're 6'6", 6'7", 220 something pounds with a 40-inch vertical, right? Not just anybody can stay in front of you. And so he brings an elite amount of scoring ability to this team. His ability to get to the rim, his ability to draw fouls, create contact with that defense, forcing, or I should say imposing his offensive will on the defense is a skill, is a trait, is a talent that I think many of the teams in this draft acknowledge. And that is why he is a top 10 pick, solidified, if not top 5. And then you have Jarace Walker. Jarace Walker was my favorite. If you want more details on him, you could definitely check out the video I did. He's a facilitator. He's an ace defender who can guard 5 positions. A great athlete. Maybe not at Cam Whitmore, but he's damn close. He's got a really good handle. He's got a nice beginning jump shot. And I love that he plays both ends. He plays both ends. And as a freshman, he was able to be counted upon to anchor a defense on a veteran college team, meaning that they had seniors and juniors leading the way. And as a freshman, he came in and got that role and responsibility. And he showed that he is a team-first guy. Coming out of the IMG Academy, he was a highly ranked player. He's the type of guy that might go to a team expecting to be their number one option. His talent definitely demanded that. In 90% of teams throughout the NCAA, he would have been the number one option. He could have been like Reggie Jackson, shooting the ball nonstop. Instead, he goes to Houston, returning Marcus Sasser and a bunch of other juniors and seniors, sophomores, and he played his role on the team. And then you have Taylor Hendricks. Taylor Hendricks is a 6'9", athletic wing forward, really more of a forward than he is a wing, but shows great shooting touch, probably the best shooter out of the 3, easily, and played a lot of small ball center, which is surprising considering that he's only about 215 pounds, 210 to 215 pounds. He's really light, but he showed the ability to play on the perimeter as well with his shooting ability. And I believe it was at UCF, University of Central Florida, he was the team's leader. He was the guy that they looked to for the defensive stops and to hit big shots, and he did. And he did. Now, it's not about if these guys are talented. It's not about if these guys are capable of coming in and making an impact. It's what is the impact that we can see them making on this team. Not on any team. On this team. You see, if this was the Charlotte Hornets picking at number 5, I would probably say Cam Whitmore. I would say Cam Whitmore, and it wouldn't even be close. His scoring ability, his ability to get downhill, draw contact, get to the free throw line is exactly what they need. Even though Miles Bridges should be returning, that's probably the only player on this team who consistently gets to the rim. And I don't know if his handle is even strong enough still to be that consistent guy to put that type of pressure on the defense, especially when it comes to the playoffs. Cam Whitmore would come in as their best option to do that. But this is not the Charlotte Hornets. It's the Detroit Pistons. And the Detroit Pistons, with Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, have 2 guys who can get to the rim at will already. But here's the thing. Cade Cunningham is their best facilitator as well. And so when you're the best facilitator and probably one of the more talented scorers, it puts you in an interesting position because now you have to figure out how to best utilize your skill in conjunction with the rest of the team. And I will say this, Jaden Ivey is a solid passer. I think he's going to be a 5-assist guy, 4 to 6 assists at the most per game throughout his career. I think that's his outlook. And I would have to say that Jalen Duren is an underrated passer. I think he can get upwards of 3 to 4 assists a game, especially at his peak. But Cade Cunningham is still the 6 to 10 assist guy. And he's probably the guy that's best suited to create shots and play make for himself and others, especially in a playoff setting when things become more intense and more physical. And he's able to handle that contact, create opportunities, and make really great reads. You see, it's one thing to be able to make certain passes. It's another thing to be able to make great reads in high pressure situations. This is why he was a number 1 draft pick. Now, here's the thing. If you bring in a Cam Whitmore who is a scorer, 2 things are probably going to happen. One, either Cam Whitmore falls back and becomes the third option. I don't think you're going to make Jaden Ivey the third option. He probably could, but you would have Cam and Jaden Ivey as a tertiary scorer, secondary or tertiary scorer. And Cade Cunningham would be the main scorer, but because he's the main facilitator, he now has to also take on the responsibility of getting the other guys involved. And when you have Cam Whitmore as a second or third option, at best, if not, at worst, he might be coming off the bench. He might be the 4th option behind Jalen Duren as well. And now all of a sudden, you have to ask yourself, well, if you're not the main scoring option, what are you doing for us? Now, is he a solid enough rebounder? Yes. I think he's going to get you 5 to 6 rebounds a game throughout his career. Can he defend? Yes. And if you're telling me that you believe Cam Whitmore is going to become an ace defender, OG Anunoby type, a dog, get into you, moving his feet, and you see that type of outlook, then I could see you selecting him here at number 5 and saying, you know what? He's going to be a great defensive player, kind of like an Isaac Okoro with more scoring ability. Okay. Now you look at Taylor Hendricks. The real thing about Taylor Hendricks that really makes me second guess him is coming in. At best, he's your 4th option scoring. He's your 4th option. And as good of a defender as we saw throughout his season at UCF, he was not consistently guarding wing perimeter players. He was actually positioned more as a small ball 5 and a help rim protector. So you have to ask yourself, at 6'9", 210 pounds, can he play that role for you? And in Detroit, the answer is emphatically no. He would need to be able to play the small forward position. So now then you think to yourself, okay, if I'm drafting at 5, I'm getting a 4th scoring option at best who may be playing out of position at small forward. Is that worth the number 5 pick? Especially considering who is already there. To me, the answer is emphatically no. It is not. And this is my pick here. Jarace Walker. Jarace Walker's ability to facilitate is one of the key reasons that I like him. And his ability to defend all 5 positions. He's the type of defender that I believe brings the team together. He is your Draymond Green. No, actually, you know what? He's more of your Andre Iguodala. He's your Andre Iguodala. He's the guy that's going to cover a lot for Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, ensure that they don't have to guard the other team's best perimeter offensive player. He's also going to facilitate, allowing Cade Cunningham to be more to be more in his bag and not having to worry about getting everyone involved, because Jarace Walker has the ability to get guys involved, facilitating at the top of the key, and his ability to actually get to the basket. He's got an incredible first step. And that's another reason why he's a huge option above Taylor Hendricks, because of his ball handling ability to get to the basket. Even if his jump shot still isn't proven to be a volume scorer yet, he at least has the ability to get to the basket with his first step and his ball handling. And because of his passing ability, he's able to draw other defenders and make the correct read. This, as he progresses and develops, I see can be something that he can apply even in the playoffs. I think he can be that guy who, when the ball is kicked to him, can attack a closeout and get to the rim and do a secondary kick out to a wide open shooter. I think he's going to make guys like Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham better because of that facilitation ability, and His defensive ability is going to make them better because it's going to take a lot of pressure off of them. You don't want your two dynamic scorers to also have to be your best defenders. Can they defend? Yes. Are they willing defenders? Yes. Do you want them to have to guard the Kyrie Irvings and the Luka Doncic? Do you want them to have to guard the DeMar DeRozans and Zach LaVines? Do you want them to have to guard the James Hardens, the Jason Tatums and the Jalen Browns, Giannis Antetokounmpo, or Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday? Do you want them to have to guard those guys for the full game in the playoffs? Or do you want a guy like Jarace Walker who can say, I got him. I'm going to slow him down. We don't have to double. Yes, we have team defensive schemes. No one guy is going to shut those guys down. But I have the ability and the skill and the talent, the footwork, the quickness, the lateral agility, the physicality at 230 plus pounds, the 7'2" wingspan, the good hands, the defensive IQ to hold that job down and make the game easy for his teammates. To me, the answer is clear. It's Jarace Walker. You know, somebody said a long time ago, one of the number one skills that every NBA player improves upon is shooting. Now, whether they have the confidence to actually shoot is on them. Jarace Walker has shown that he's not scared to shoot. Detroit is a developmental team. They're not going to ever tell him not to shoot. They're not going to Tom Thibodeau him, right? They're not going to be one of these old school coaches that are like, hey, sit in the corner or sit in the dunker spot. He's going to be able to develop that three-point shot, and I think he will. And so when we think about these three options, to me, the answer is clear. But as always, I want to know what you all think. So get at me in the comment section. Make your argument. Y'all have been making the arguments on these videos. Let me know, because the draft is coming up. Is it Jarace Walker? Is it Cam Whitmore? Is it Taylor Hendricks? Holler at me in the comment section. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.